Konnichiwa, Dokshana Minasama, and welcome back to PJL Books. Today, on the A to Z of Japan, we are at S, and today's S is for Saitama. Oh yes, it seems fitting in a way that my first kind of location post is for my home. Now, for those of you who are wise on Japan's geography, you might wonder exactly what I mean by Saitama. Am I talking about the prefecture Saitama? Prefecture being the Japanese equivalent of the American state or the English county? Or am I talking about the city of the same name, Saitama City, which is the capital of Saitama Prefecture, would you believe it? Well, I'm talking about both actually. I've lived in two different places while I've been in Japan all these years, and they've both been in Saitama Prefecture, although the two couldn't be more different from one or the other. My first home was well out in the countryside in this tiny little town of about 10,000 people, mountains on one side, endless forest on the other. But Saitama City is this humming metropolis, the bed town really, that blends seamlessly into Tokyo just to the south. I'll tell you what, to keep it simple, I'm going to refer to Saitama Prefecture as just Saitama from now on, and Saitama City, I'll call it Saitama City. Anyway, I've often found myself defending Saitama because the nickname for Saitama among the Japanese people is Dasaitama, and Dasai means uncool. Yes, a comedian called Tamori, I believe, made this very clever pun gag many years ago, made the connection between that, and it's just kind of stuck ever since, and for some reason now everyone thinks that the prefecture is uncool, based on a joke, go figure. Yeah, it's gained this reputation because it's also a kind of a dormitory prefecture, you know, full of the worker bees who slouch their way into the capital city Monday to Friday, and that includes me. Oh, but it's unfair, I think, because it's like having a band play on a separate stage at a festival while Muse are on another. No matter how awesome you are, the big draw is going to be Tokyo, and it's always going to make you look bad. But Saitama has its own charms and treasures that make it its own worthwhile place to both visit and live. So, here we go. Here's your quick whistle-stop tour, and I'm going to flash some photos of these places in the background as I talk about them. Right, Kawagoe is a city in the west of Saitama, and it's about 30 minutes out of the capital by train. Alighting from the main station, you might think it's just like any other identikit city in Japan. But take a walk down the Kriya Mall Street, over the crossroads, and through the cute little shrine with pebble paths that offer you a much needed bare feet massaging, and you arrive at an old Edo town. This place has barely changed since the Edo period, complete with wooden housing, winding back alleys, and an old bell tower. It's well worth an exploration. It's a really charming place. Further up north from Kawagoe, nestled in the mountains, is Nagatoro, with the massive Iwadatami, which is this singular rock by the riverside that seems to stretch on forever, and it's great for exploring and scrambling over it. It's great fun, and there's also a mountain there as well, which you can go up by cable car, get this great view, and I believe on clear days you get a view of Mount Fuji as well. Head up even further into the mountains, and you arrive in Chichibu, the city of the December Night Festival, which is one of the biggest festivals in Japan, top 3 I believe, and because it's in December, whereas most festivals in Japan kind of gravitate around the summer period, it's about as close to a festive atmosphere you can get in winter in Japan. Also, Chichibu is home to the Shiba Zakura, which means lawn cherry blossom, and it's exactly what you think it is. It looks like cherry blossom, except the pink is to be found painting a park in hues of pink, white and purple with waves of flowers. It's really quite something to see. Kumagaya is an awesome city, and it's the biggest in Saitama that stands apart from the Tokyo metropolitan area. This city literally means Bear Valley. I have no idea why, and it has both one of the biggest festivals in Japan, the Uchiwa Matsuri, which has towering masses of floats and a labyrinth of festival stalls and revelers, and it also hosts one of the biggest firework festivals too. You can expect loads of oohs and ahs and aching neck the next day. You gotta go, it's absolutely fantastically good fun. Finally though, we come to the icing on the cake. My home city, Saitama City. Now you could be accusing it of just being an overspill of the megalopolis of Tokyo, but Saitama's historical roots run far deeper than may first appear. The Hikawa Shrine has a history spanning well over 2,000 years. In fact, this was the shrine that Emperor Meiji himself championed and frequented throughout his life, until ironically his own shrine, built in his memory, became the main shrine in, well, all of Japan I suppose, which superseded Hikawa Shrine. Surrounding the shrine are not one, but 3 massive recreational parks, a free zoo, sports stadiums for the local soccer and baseball and athletics teams, and lest we forget the famous bonsai village. Now that has an interesting history because there was a big earthquake in 1923, the Kanto earthquake, which hit Tokyo pretty hard. Now, the bonsai village, which was down in Tokyo at the time, was where all of the bonsai artisans were located. However, after the earthquake, they all migrated further inland for safety and to make sure that they had a more, well, it was actually meant to be temporary, I believe, but they basically stayed there. And to this day, you can wander around this bonsai village in Saitama City and you can see all of the bonsai gardeners and the trees themselves in all their glory. And cripes, I haven't even mentioned gems like the Saitama Super Arena, which you can see famous bands from all across Japan and all over the world. I went to go and see Muse there. And yeah, you've got the rivalry between the Urawa Reds and Omiya Ardija, which are 2 very major soccer teams in Japan. You've also got very close by 2 shopping malls, close to the Super Arena, in Saitama City. In fact, they actually just built a new one. It's constantly evolving here. And also Saitama Prefecture out to the east, has it has the biggest shopping mall in Japan. In fact, it used to be the biggest shopping mall in Asia until China built a bigger one recently. And of course, we've got an IKEA. Oh yes. But there's no denying that one of Saitama's great blessings is the fact it's just so close to Tokyo. Well, it's a blessing and a curse. There's no doubting though that the more you get to know Saitama, the more you realise it has its own character and features worth exploring. It's worth it just to escape the cramped ants nest that Tokyo can often feel like. Seriously, get off at Omiya and have a walk around. I mean, sure, it's busy, but it's nowhere near as chaotic as Tokyo can feel. Moreover, personally, Saitama's my home, and it's been my home for 6 years now. Japan is a wonderful country, and I've seen many wonderful things the length and breadth of the land, but I've never really considered living anywhere else, Dasai or not. And that's it for today's A to Z of Japan. Thank you very much for listening, readers. The written version of this blog is on my A to Z of Japan blog, the link of which is in the description below, so please check that out along with all the other blogs written there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Sayonara.